With title changes and injuries, the 2026 Royal Rumble is as unpredictable as ever, but I've compiled a list of the 5 most likely superstars to win the Rumble, who they're going to challenge, and what storyline makes the most sense. But if you like being an informed fan of all things professional wrestling, make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment below who you think is going to win the Royal Rumble. Starting off with 3 honorable mentions, these people I think have a slight chance to win above the rest of the field, but I don't think they're actually going this direction, and those honorable mentions are Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Jacob Fatu. I think all 3 will be featured prominently at WrestleMania, but I don't know if they'll be in the world title scene. We'll get more into that Jacob Fatu WrestleMania rumor a little bit later on, but Randy Orton could challenge Drew McIntyre, could challenge CM Punk. I just don't think that's the direction they're going to go, and with Logan Paul signing a new 5-year full-time contract, they could try to reward him by giving him that big push, that Royal Rumble win, a WrestleMania challenge. It's going to bring in a lot of clicks, a lot of views, a lot of merchandise, and Logan Paul is a draw, so they really could go with that if they're wanting to give something a little unique, kind of like the Jey Uso situation where it's something different, not one of your typical guys winning it. They could give it to Logan Paul, and I think it could work. I just don't think now's the time. Starting off with a superstar that I think makes the most sense in terms of story, and that is Sami Zayn. They've done a couple backstage segments with him and Drew McIntyre saying, "You've never beaten me, you've never been a world champ," and I really thought that was the story going back to even the Raw after WrestleMania last year saying, "Sami, you've never done it, you can't be world champ." I thought they were going to build to a Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn match, but it didn't obviously end up taking place. So I think Sami Zayn could win the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday night's main event, going to challenge Drew at the Royal Rumble, lose, later that night enter the Royal Rumble itself, win that match, challenge Drew again. He'd be, I think, 0-12 going to WrestleMania and finally win the big one, finally beat Drew McIntyre, and become the world champ he was always destined to be. I think this works for a lot of reasons because everyone loves Sami Zayn. He's the ultimate underdog for a reason, and people love a babyface chasing their first championship at WrestleMania. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan. It wasn't his first championship. It was his first time being positioned as the main event, defeating Batista and Randy Orton. And then going back a couple years after that, you have Kofi Kingston finally beating Daniel Bryan for his first championship. And I think it makes a lot of sense having Sami Zayn go in there, beat Drew McIntyre. I don't think it would main event night 2, but main event of night 1, I think it's a great story to tell, and I think honestly that should be the direction they go with. At number 2, I have Cody Rhodes. He was the first person to declare himself as an entrant into the Royal Rumble on SmackDown. He's going for a couple of things. He's going to be a 3-time Rumble winner like Stone Cold. He's going to challenge possibly Drew McIntyre because he just lost his title to Drew McIntyre and they've been feuding since August, going into like WrestlePalooza and all that kind of stuff. And when you think back at the past couple years, the best moments in wrestling have been when Cody Rhodes has been feuding for a championship that he is chasing. He's going after Roman Reigns at 39. He's going after Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. He was going at John Cena going into SummerSlam. Those are some of the best matches, some of the best moments, and I think with him losing the title on SmackDown, that 3 Stages of Hell match, it could go into a different side of his character to explore something a little bit different, a little more violent, a little more dark without going full heel, and I think the crowd could really eat that up, and I think that's a really intriguing match going into WrestleMania, having Cody versus Drew, but their roles switched, Drew being the champion, Cody being the challenger. There was a rumor coming out that I posted a video on a couple days ago talking about how the current WrestleMania main event plans are either Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes or a triple threat between Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu. So because of that, Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes are challenging each other at Saturday Night Main Event. So I'm not sure exactly if the Royal Rumble is how they want to get to that WrestleMania match. Personally, if you're going to do a triple threat match, I don't really want to use the Rumble. You could use the Chamber, you could use other stipulations, but I think the Rumble winner should be a one-on-one match, except for in very, very like dire situations, something not very too often. So if Cody wins, how do you really build Jacob Fatu without taking away from the Rumble, and vice versa? Go back to my honorable mention. If Jacob Fatu wins, how do you logically put in a third person like Cody Rhodes without taking away so much buzz from Jacob Fatu? Especially if you don't want to start having people turn on Cody Rhodes, always giving these opportunities, especially if he loses at Saturday Night Main Event and he loses the Royal Rumble. The only way logically I could see it happening is that one of them, whoever loses at Saturday Night's Main Event, is one that wins the Rumble. So let's say Jacob Fatu pins Cody Rhodes, shocks everyone, Cody Rhodes goes and wins the Rumble. Jacob Fatu could say, "Hey, I already beat you one-on-one. I beat you clean. I'm getting that championship shot. You shouldn't have it." And then they wrestle a little bit, and then somehow they get into a triple threat. That's what I think is going to happen, but I don't know if Cody Rhodes is the way they're going to go, but there is a good story to it. At number 3, I have a return from injury, and that's Seth freaking Rollins. Imagine this. Seth Rollins comes out. He takes out the old Vision. He can still be a heel, can still be a babyface. He wins the Rumble, and he challenges CM Punk, the man he absolutely hates, the the man who won the title only after Seth Rollins was hurt and had to vacate it. CM Punk could not beat Rollins for that title, so there's a lot of story there. Along with the Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu rumor, I think there could be a triple threat match here between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Bron Breaker. Yes, we had a triple threat last year with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, all involving Paul Heyman, but now since Paul Heyman already turned on Seth Rollins and aligned himself with the visions of Bron Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, I think we could have another triple threat that maybe Bron Breaker then wins and you don't need CM Punk or Seth Rollins to lose the championship, and that Seth Rollins could be more of the tweener he's really good at. He could be a heel because he hates CM Punk, but now he got screwed over by Bron Breaker, so he hates Bron Breaker and the crowd's behind him for that, but we love CM Punk. There's a lot of mixed emotions going on, and we all don't like Bron Breaker because he's a bad guy and he does bad things, but we all recognize he's the future and he's a future main event superstar and Royal Rumble winner and WrestleMania champ, everything. Bron Breaker is everything the company is pushing towards, and there's a lot of just mixed emotions, and I think that's what makes wrestling so great, is that we don't always have a clear winner, a clear favorite, and a clear loser. I also think this is one of the most intriguing builds to the WrestleMania, because if Seth Rollins wins and instantly challenges CM Punk, how do we factor in the vision? Are they going to be against CM Punk because they don't like CM Punk? Are they against Seth Rollins, or they stay out of their business? Is he going to be with Adam Pearce? It could be a Bron Breaker Adam Pearce match at WrestleMania. There's a lot that you kind of build around, and that gives a lot of substance between the months of February and middle of April that we're not just kind of wasting. It gives a really good build and makes you want to tune into Raw and SmackDown. At number 4, speaking which, I do have Bron Breaker winning the Rumble. What if he wins and challenges CM Punk again? He lost in the first episode of Raw this year because he was inexperienced. He got kind of rushed. He went for the spear and he kind of shouldn't have. He didn't have the experience in the big moments, and that's what CM Punk has over him, and that's why CM Punk won. So what if Bron Breaker learns from that? He finally wins the Royal Rumble. He's got months to prepare, and he finally beats CM Punk. Could be just one-on-one, and Bron Breaker is a world champion. I think there's a lot to be said when crowning new champions at WrestleMania. It gives you that kind of legitimacy that makes you buy into these people, because like Jey Uso won, yes, we didn't really like that, but still it seemed legit because he beat Gunther at WrestleMania. If Bron Breaker goes and beats CM Punk in the WrestleMania main event, night 1, night 2, whatever, we all know he's not just the future, he's the right now. He's the champion, Rumble winner. What better way to make a star than to crown a new world champion at WrestleMania in Bron Breaker? And last but not least, you can't talk about WrestleMania main events without talking about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had been gone for a while. He was taken out by Bronson Reed. He comes back. He wins the Royal Rumble because you can't have WrestleMania without Roman Reigns. He's featured in all the promos, and he has some choices, and I think both are really intriguing. The first one being CM Punk. You have, when Roman Reigns at that Survivor Series War Games match, he needed CM Punk. Paul Heyman gave Sami Zayn a favor, ended up being a WrestleMania event. Roman Reigns ended up losing in that main event, as did CM Punk. They ended up being the Zebras and Zootopia 2. There's a lot of history between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. When Roman Reigns and the Shield debuted, they were protecting CM Punk. There's a lot of story you can tell there. On the other hand, in a almost just as interesting, if not more interesting story, you have Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, the man that was continuously screwed over by the Bloodline when Roman Reigns was champion, including at Clash of the Castle. You could have, now that Drew's the champion, he went into that Bloodline Hunter arc. We could really revisit that, but now he's the champion, Roman's the challenger, and I think there's a lot of great story you could tell there, including anything with the old Bloodline, new Bloodline, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Roman. You have like the MFTs. There's a lot you could tell with a Bloodline Hunter Drew as champion and Roman as challenger that I think makes for a lot of intriguing television. So all in all, this year's Royal Rumble is really unpredictable, and I really think they're in a great spot to have a lot of good television and a lot of good stories coming out of this. Personally, out of the 5 I mentioned, I think Cody Rhodes winning is my least favorite option. I would probably put Bron Breaker, Seth Rollins, or Sami Zayn at the top, with Roman Reigns maybe near at the bottom. But I think after the disastrous win of Jey Uso, and it just didn't really work out with this whole title run and the story to get there, I think they're going to really try to make this one a big one, especially because it's in Saudi Arabia, and then next year's WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia, so they want to get the people fired up. So I think they're going to have a really big moment here. So I'm just going to go out and say that Sami Zayn is going to win the Rumble. But what do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble, and who are they going to challenge at WrestleMania? If you made it to the end, thank you so much, and make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.